What's good, fam? Welcome to the Self Center Cafe. It is me, your girl Tangi, and I am here for another video. Now, I told you all I was going to be out here. I was for real when I said that I was going to reinvent my channel and reintroduce the Self Center Cafe because, I just feel that I have some things that people just really want to hear. I'm out here to encourage, to inspire, and just open up some real dialogue about some things. Now, of course, I have been jotting down things that I think would be important for women to really kind of just talk about and speak on and dialogue about. But today I decided to just be organic with everything that's going on right now. That's pretty easy to do to keep it a buck. It really is. You can just get out here and just talk about, just sit back and look at the news for 5 minutes, and you can really sit up and have an all day conversation with what's going on. So, at first it was COVID-19, and, with that going on, I'm in the healthcare profession, and right now I'm just working every other day. So we had that going on, and, when it seemed like, things were kind of getting back to what we would think is normal or close to normal, because of course we know there will never be normal like we're used to, shaking hands and hugging and all of that good jazz. But now, oh my God, it is just insane with what is going on globally. Let's just not talk about the United States. Let's just say this is globally. And I think it is awesome, to be quite frank. Being from Montgomery, Alabama, born in the very early 70s, I'm used to seeing this kind of stuff. I'm used to being exposed, but not at this level. I mean, back in 91, when Rodney King, the uprising of Los Angeles, I was 19 years old at the time, and I thought I was like, "Oh my God, this is insane." I would have never thought we would be here again. But when I experienced what I'm seeing now, back in 90, was it 91 or 92? Somewhere up in there. Y'all put your comments below. I'm thinking it was 92. I was 19 years old, and I was like, oh my God, I was a police cadet, so I was in law enforcement. And to see what was going on with Rodney King was something that I had never thought that I'd see before. And here it is, 2020, and we see the same thing happening again. The difference in when I experienced it the first time, I was, young, no kids, no real responsibility. But now in 2020, as a mother of not one but two adult black sons, it's totally different. Yeah, it is real different to have sons in this world today with this going on. Now, it's one thing to say, okay, I have sons, but it's a horse of a different color when you have a son or sons who are driving, who gives you that call and say, "Hey mom, I've just been pulled over." So today is a nonfiction story about the day I got that call in 2016 saying, "Mom, I have been pulled over by a cop." My son was 17 years old, on his way to work. Got his shirt that represented where he worked at, on his way to work, and I get a call after 12:30-ish and says, "Hey, Mom, I'm being pulled over right now." And for all of us who have kids, black people who have kids who are young adults or are driving, you generally give them the talk. And that talk is, this is what you do when you are pulled over. So fortunate for me and me and my family, we gave our kids that talk before they started to drive. Well, they were prepared, but you prepare your kids, but you're not really prepared. You really don't know what you've taught them until they are in that situation. So I get that call. I'm at my desk, just doing what I do, and I have my baby call me and say, "Hey, mom, I'm being pulled over." And immediately I'm like, "Okay, son, you remember what mom and dad taught you. Keep your hands visible, no sudden movements, do whatever they say. You know, the object of this is to make sure you are alive afterwards." He said, "Mom, I'm scared." I said, "Baby, you're going to be all right." If only he knew, if only anyone knew how I went into just straight panic mode. Now, I've always been one of those ones, I got faith and I have all of that. But when you've seen two black men being killed back to back, one of them being Philando Castile, it was the very next day after that my son got pulled over. And I tell you, it gives me chills. If you all could just see me right now, I have chills right now because it's like I'm reliving it right now. And I'm like, I hung up the phone and I went into this prayer. Oh my God, protect my child. Please protect my child. And I sat and I waited for 13 minutes. 13 minutes. My phone finally rings and says, "Mom." The crazy part about it is I just wanted to hear his voice. But he's like, "Mom, I'm so sorry. I ended up getting a ticket for going 5 miles over." He said, "But Mom, I asked the officer." One of the officers, because let me just add that 2 other cop cars came behind the one that already pulled him over. Okay. Here my baby was about, at the time, 6'2", 6'3", 170, 80 pounds. Scared out of his mind, and rightfully so. He said, "Mom, I asked them." After they ransacked my car, they ransacked my baby's car searching, because I told them, if they want to search your car, let them search it. Right now, I don't want you the chance to say, "Well, do you have a search warrant?" I mean, that would come off as being lippy. Oh, you want to be uppity. I can show you what I can do with that. So no. No. You just go ahead and let them do what they want to do. Let mom and dad handle all the technicalities. So he said, "Mom, I asked him why." "Sir, can I ask you a question? Why did you pull me over?" And the officer said, "Well, you look like a suspect." At the time, like I said, 6'3", maybe 180. He had locks that were blonde. I mean, seriously? That could have been one of a couple hundred young black men. He's like, "Mom, I'm so scared. I was so scared." And I said, "Baby, you are okay." Once I heard his voice, I was good. But you could have all the faith in the world. But when you have been subjected to a system that has for decades killed black men, it'll cause the average mom. You could be double dipped in the blood 12 times over, there's a fear that comes over you. And I said, you know what? I told my husband, I said, you know what? I'm going to contact the court and I'm going to tell them, you know what? I have no problem with the ticket, because if he was going 5 over, I want them to know that, you know what? I'm not bucking the system because he was going 5 over. However, I just want to ask the officer, why did you pull my child out of the car? Now, let me just clarify. They didn't physically pull him out. They had him get out of his car and go sit on the curb on his hands in June. It was hot as Georgia fish grease as they searched and rambled through his car, which they didn't find anything. I said, you know what? I'm going to fight this ticket. It's not the ticket. I just want to look the officer in the eye and ask him, why did you do that to my son? Why? I just want to know. Because, truth be told, how would you feel if somebody did that to your child? Then, you talk to me then. Well, that day came, we went to court. And they were like, you know what, Miss Williams, he didn't show up, so hey, you don't have to pay the ticket. I was livid. I was mad as hell, because I wanted to look this man in his eye and say, you know what? You've changed my son. I've always taught my children to respect authority. And now he's angry and he's mad and he's afraid because you decided that you wanted to pull him out of his car because he looked like a suspect. This is just not happening to people who are on TV. This is happening to people like me who are in small towns, where blacks are the minority in some areas. And tight knit, everybody pretty much knows everybody. All the kids know each other. But this is happening in places such as this. So for everybody who has a problem with things that are going on, just put yourself into our shoes. Moms with sons, put yourself in our shoes. I said all that to say this. I just want people to understand. And when I say people, I'm gonna be direct. I want people who are not black, African American, African descent, whatever you call it. Just put that shoe on your foot and say, what would I do? How would it feel if this happened to my child? Because it's happening to people like me. People who taught their children to be respectful. Yes, ma'am, and no, sir. Never been in any trouble. Don't have a record. It's happening to kids who are just trying to live their life and be great. Understand that. Understand why people are upset. Understand why people are angry and mad as hell. Just think, what would you do in this type of situation? Like I always say, I like to keep my videos pretty short to grab your attention. But I just want, for those who may be other, I want you all to just say, what if that were me? How would I feel if that happened to my child? Think about that. Drop me some comments. If that has happened to your child, your son, your grandson, your friend's son, your nephew, your cousin, send me some comments, because I want to hear about it. I want to open up dialogue, because you know what? Until we tackle this thing head on, even the death of George Floyd, it's not going to change that, unfortunately. Leave me your comments. Let me know. Let's have some dialogue. I said in my last video, that I would leave a self-centered nugget at each video. You know, I want to give you something for you to think about, and that's going to help you in life. The one thing I would say that would benefit, you know, any of you in life is to read. I am an avid reader. And right now, this will be a great time to do some research. Get educated in Black history. I was raised in Montgomery, Alabama, and I can remember in the fourth grade we had Alabama Black history for maybe 6 weeks. But it's something that they really don't teach in school. Educate yourself. As Black people, we have a history that is so vast. Educate yourself. So, with that being said, I want to show you a book, and I am not endorsing this book, but I am reading it right now. It's called Driving While Black. I am reading this book. I got it from Books a Million last week. And it's not the regular Driving While Black and the racial profiling. It just basically takes you back to the civil rights movement when Black people were afforded the luxury of buying cars and automobiles being their weapon of choice, with them being able to travel and go on vacation with their families. However, in traveling, you had to make sure you didn't go through certain states and certain cities, sundown states and sundown cities, meaning that if you Black, you better not be there when the sun goes down. See, they don't teach. If my memory is pretty good, most people who know me for real, know that I have a very, very good memory. They didn't teach this in school. I mean, as I've grown and gone through college, there were, you know, taking courses, you kind of learn things. But what I am learning in this book here, it is teaching me things that I never ever learned. People read. Reading is fundamental. Read, learn about your history. Learn about life, because they're not teaching this. Instill it in your kids, your adult kids, your young kids. Read. Educate yourself. A mind is a terrible thing to waste. You remember they used to have that commercial back in the day? What commercial was that? I can't think of it right now. Read. Educate yourself. Educate yourself. Let's be great as a people. And I'm speaking collectively. Black, white, brown, yellow. Let's educate ourselves and learn and read. Hey, I have gone over a little bit over longer than I normally do, but I just wanted to spit that with you all. And I hope that from my experience in what happened to my child, you will know that if you haven't given your sons the talk, or your daughters, give them that talk. Remind them before my kids leave out every day, because of course college is out. I tell them, be safe, follow the speed limit. Don't do anything that's going to bring attention to you. You have to have these conversations, because if you don't, you will be like these mothers who wish they had, and continue to press that into them. Just know that this is real. This is happening every day. And I don't want to see another young Black man or woman lose their life because of the color of their skin. Hey, thank you. It's been real. Thank you for coming to my channel. Leave me comments. That's what this channel is for. Leave me comments. Thank you for coming out to the Self-Centered Cafe. I will be putting out another video. The next one, it won't be off the cuff. It'll be something that it'll probably be what I wanted to talk about initially, but I just felt pressed in my heart that I wanted to talk about this today, because it is right here in our faces, people. You all be blessed. Stay safe. Wash your hands. Socially distance yourself. And I will see you in the next video. Have a blessed day.